at a custom home in rural Dallas County with husband and wife building team Scott and Stephanie Denton. Thanks so much for having us here.
Well, thanks for coming. We're excited to show you a tour of a custom home we did over a couple of years ago.
So Mike, you've been living in this home for 2 years now. What was your experience like building with the Dentons?
Well, our experience was fantastic. My wife and I are a team much like Scott and Stephanie. And so when we looked at who we wanted to build with, it just made sense for us. We were impressed with the houses we had seen them build. You know, we're building on a large farmland tract, so it's not your typical acreage. It's certainly not a residential build in town, so it was pretty unique. And you know, we have high expectations for quality, and that we knew Scott and Stephanie shared that high expectation. So it was a good fit for us. We were really happy with the outcome.
So tell me something unique about the process.
Well, one of the things we found unique was the way that we communicated with Scott and Stephanie. I mentioned earlier that Lindsay and I were a team in the house building process, and much like Scott and Stephanie are. And so when it came time to make decisions on details, whether it be cabinet picks or flooring picks or discussions about geothermal systems, it was really important for us to have lead time to think about it so we didn't have to make a knee-jerk decision. And additionally, to have a set amount of time every week. So we would meet once a week through the entire building process. And when I talk to friends or family that have built houses, you know, that isn't common. So we really valued that with the Dentons.
The communication is big, even on starting the process of placing a house on a lot of potential down the road of swimming pools, outbuildings, and geothermal.
Yeah, I remember when we first started the discussion, you know, I had a vision for the property. And so it was really imperative that you and I get in sync with that vision. And what I liked about the way it worked out is some of the infrastructure was already in place. I had the lane off the road, some of the rock was installed. But in terms of placement of the house, that's where your expertise was really beneficial. We could talk about sunlight penetration. We could talk about you know, potential future for placement of geothermal pumps or where the septic would be installed. And all that played into how the house sits today. One of the critical steps for us was, where does this house end up? And walking out to a large piece of farmland that really wasn't a traditional acreage site, that was a big question for us. So having the surveyor here on site with GPS and his laptop and putting stakes in the corners where the house would be and looking at that, walking around it, thinking about it, tweaking it. You know, we made a few changes, but in the end, that was really helpful for us to visualize how the house will look in the end.
Scott and Stephanie, this really is a lovely home. Viewers want to find out more about the Denton building team. How can they do that?
They can check out our website for other video tours at dentonhomesiowa.com.
Well, thanks so much, Scott and Stephanie of Denton Homes.
Thanks.